Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special presentation that we are doing just for the SummerSpark group. And then we're going to be sharing it with the rest of Team Taurus later. Welcome, Rob Stewart from Solex. He is going to be speaking on how to do in-person events, which I know has been one of the top questions that you all have for the SummerSpark Challenge, and also a way for you to earn extra points towards your goal. So I am just going to go ahead right now and turn it over to Rob. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course, and thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be able to be here in front of you guys and to be part of this specific group. This is a powerhouse group with amazing leaders. And from what I'm hearing from your leaders, you guys are also amazing leaders. So I'm just super excited about it. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I just love sharing it. I love seeing the power of events and how doing events can help you grow your business at an amazingly quick rate. So why don't we do this? Why don't we jump in to the presentation? I'll go ahead and share my screen. I think I'm able to share. Let's just make sure everyone can see. Is everyone seeing that? Are they seeing the Team Taurus business building screen? Are we good? All right. Awesome. So let's kind of we'll jump right in and kind of it'll kind of go a couple of different directions here, and hopefully if you guys have questions, why don't you throw them in the chat screen, and I'll try and get to those as often as I can. It might be easier than um, verbally voicing questions because I think we might get a little bit bogged down with that. But let's try with the chat first and see how it goes. And if we need to open it up for some voice questions, I'm happy to do that too. But um, let's jump in there because I want to talk first of all, maybe how most of us are building already at Solex. At Solex, a lot of it is social media based, right? Everyone is pretty much, from what I understand, and from what Jake has kind of said. You guys all know Jake Smith, the VP of Marketing. What he is telling me mostly is it's pretty much social media driven, and it's through Facebook and Instagram. That sounds like it's about 90%. I know there's about 10% of you guys out there that are employing some other methods, and they're all wonderful. I am here to tell you right now, number one, you're doing it right, right? If you are comfortable with whatever medium you're using and you have followers on that medium, you're doing it right. Facebook and Instagram, no exception. They're awesome. Continue to use those if you're comfortable using them. It probably makes sense, though, to tell you a little bit about me first. I know we've probably met. I've met, if you came to the live DoD in Provo last year, we've probably met. If you haven't, let me do you a quick introduction so you kind of know who I am, maybe where I've been. I am the vice president of operations here at Solex. So I'm responsible for anything warehouse and shipping, the production or how our products are manufactured. Customer service is reports to me as well. So if you have any issues or questions or concerns about those kinds of things, I'd be happy to answer those maybe after the call today, since we probably won't have a lot of time. But just so you know, that's kind of my wheelhouse. That's where Kai has kind of asked me to help take care of Solex. Kai and I actually go back about 27 years. He and I we actually shared a townhome right next door to each other. We shared a porch, and our kids are actually the same age. So we became really good friends. Initially, Kai worked for me at New Skin. That's where we kind of got started in our business days. And then we've done everything through Unicity and kind of a lot of things over the years. And now today I work for Kai. And you guys I know love Kai. Kai is one of my favorite people ever in life. And maybe just by way of maybe just a quick point, he absolutely loves his QLAs. I kind of expressed this at leadership, but I am amazed at how much he knows about individual QLAs. He knows about you guys. He knows about spouses. He knows about families. And I am amazed at how much he knows about you guys. Not that he's a stalker. He's not a stalker. I'm just not. I'm just saying he really attaches himself to you guys. And when you guys send him notes and tell your stories and talk about yourselves, he that stuff sticks with him. He genuinely loves the QLAs here at Solex. So a little bit about me, though, just to get a little background. This is my family. If you're watching or if you're looking at this presentation on a large screen, that's a really poor quality picture there. But that's my wife, Christine, in the middle, and me. My oldest son is in the blue shirt. His name is Brandon. My oldest daughter is in the tan shirt on the far right. Her name is Reagan.
Hey, Rob.
Daughter, Yes.
We are not seeing new slides. We're seeing the PowerPoint window where we can, but we're not seeing each slide pulling up one by one. So I don't know if you're doing a
Hmm.
full screen or
You're
not.
not seeing you're not seeing a picture of my family right now.
I can see, nope, all of the slides on the left-hand side as if you're in the PowerPoint window.
Oh, interesting. Let me try and re-share. Maybe it's looking at a different window. Hang on just a minute, guys. Sorry about that. How about this one?
Yes, that's better. And it's showing us this next slide that's coming up as well, but it looks good.
Next slide that's coming up as well. Well, that's dumb.
Okay,
Let me change it so it's not shared. How about that?
there you go.
Is there a big picture now?
Yes.
You guys are looking at a big picture. Okay. So that's my wife Christine in the middle. My oldest son Brandon on the left there in the blue shirt. My oldest daughter Reagan. My oldest is about 26 years old, and then Reagan in the far right is 25. The girl in the white shirt is my third. Her name is Brienne, and then my youngest is 21, and he's in the brown shirt. He's the tall guy next to me. And then Brandon and Madison. Madison is married to Brandon. She's my daughter-in-law. They made one of these. Come on, let's go here. There she is. This is little Hayden. She's a little goofball. We just love Hayden to death. I'm a new grandpa. I don't know if we got any grandparents out there, but being a grandpa was just absolutely, it's just been so much fun. I can't even tell you. We thought we were ready. We thought we were ready to be grandparents. We were all excited, but it was so much better than we could have even planned for. So, congratulations to all you grandparents out there. I can now say I know what it feels like. Um, so much fun. So, the Stewart family, we are a water family. If there is a body of water where you can go surfing and you can spend some time on the water, that's where you will find us. If we can put our boat on the water, you will find the Stewart family surfing every chance we can possibly get. We have found that it has really brought our family together, and we've connected on levels that I hadn't even known were possible. Connections with my kids that were tough to make happen happened on the water. I don't know what it is. As soon as you're like stuck in a little 15-foot square space, it's amazing how much connecting you can do. But it's been a wonderful thing for our family, and it's kind of the pastime for all of us. So from a multi-level standpoint, I've done a few different things. I've been on both sides of the fence. I've done a lot of corporate stuff, as I mentioned, with Nu Skin and Unicity and others, but I've also done a lot on the distributor side. So for probably about 10 or 12 years, I worked with a couple of different companies that you might be familiar with building businesses. I worked with the YTV Travel Network for quite a while. I also did Unicity, if you're familiar with Unicity. Um, and then finally Monavi, which was probably my biggest one, my longest one. They are a Utah-based company. I don't even know if they're still around at this point, but the way that we did it and the way that we built our businesses back then was strictly through events. In fact, it actually got so big that we ended up building our own seminar companies. And at one time, we actually had, and we owned the largest seminar company in the world at the time. It became such, we became, I want to say that we got to be so good at it that it turned into a company that we used to drive all sorts of different of multi-level opportunities. So that's kind of the background. But what it did for me is it kind of helped me prove a model. It helped me prove a model of how to grow businesses. And you can start out super, super small, like we did, and then you can grow it into something absolutely enormous. So, what that proven model looked like for us as we grew that thing was number one, we had an introductory workshop. We call them workshops to learn about the power of the product. And then we did follow up meetings where we specifically met with each really interested party. So we kind of started with a big filter at the top and just got as many people into an event as we could get. And then after that event or through that event, we would find out who the real interested business builders were and who the interested people were in the product, right? Were they a customer or were they going to be a builder, a business builder, or were they going to be both? We could determine that from the event. And then we would just have meetings where maybe we would do lunches, or because we were kind of national, we were nationwide, company, it tended to be phone calls where we would do one-on-one phone calls just to talk business and talk specifics after it. But that's the basic model of how it was. So I know what you're thinking in your mind right now. You're like, yeah, but Robert, what does that look like? I want to kind of show you how that might look in your world to start. So number one, it could start out and should probably start out fairly small. I don't know how many. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of followers on social media, hundreds, if not thousands. Even we have some even with more than that. So depending on the number of followers you have, you might start out kind of small like this. This could be something as simple as a meeting. I could say even as small as in your home, but you could even get like a room at the library. You can get some small ballrooms. You can get a conference room. If you know people who are maybe in the title world where you would close on your home, they will often give you rooms, frankly, for free if you want to just use them, their meeting rooms. But these initial meetings could start out just as really, really small, where maybe you only have 5 or 10 people in the room, maybe use a screen on the wall. It could look something like that. It could also look like this. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. Maybe we've got a big U-shaped table, but maybe we've got 10 or 15 people in the room. It could be something where maybe we've got like a classroom type setting. Maybe we've got 20 to 50 people. Universities, schools will often have extra rooms that they will allow you to use. Maybe when you get a little bit bigger, you're doing bigger meetings, it might look like this. If you're using a panel where you're talking about testimonials, maybe it's a room that looks something like this. You can get these, you can rent these kind of spaces in most bigger cities, and most universities have a setup something like this. Or it could be a bigger ballroom like something like this. It's kind of hard to see the guy at the front of the room right there. That's a closer picture of him. That's me. So this is actually a picture of me 3 weeks ago. This was in Kansas City. This was about 300 people in the room. Just so you know, I still do events. I still host events. I still teach at events. I did when I came on at Solex. I did make Kai a promise. He did make me promise that I would not compete with Solex QLAs. So I do not do that. I only am here to help build Solex QLAs, just so you know. So this was actually a different business building event. It has nothing to do with Solex. It's more on the real estate side, but I like to still get up about once a month. I'll be out there on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'll speak 3 days at an event usually, just because I think it's important for me to keep the saw sharp, right? I like to just, if I don't do it for a while, it gets me a little bit nervous when I get up in front of people. So I still like to get up and present. And well, let me correct that. I don't like to do it. I just do it because I should do it, right? And frankly, we all should do it. It's hard initially. I mean, the first few times I did it 25 years ago, I was really nervous about doing it. We did start out small. We got really big. I will say the largest group I've ever spoken to was 5,000 at actually a Delta Center in Utah in Salt Lake City. My company at any given time, we were speaking to over 9,000 people some weeks. So I know what it's like to get in front of a lot of people, but I also know what it's like to be in front of just a few. And that's kind of where I want to start with you guys today, is to show you kind of how to start out doing these events. What does an invitation look like? What does, how am I going to invite somebody else? But what is maybe the agenda to my meeting? What should I have as part of my meeting? What are the components to having an effective meeting? Those are the kinds of things I want to talk to you guys about today. I'm going to show you, and then we'll maybe do a little exercise to kind of help you maybe develop some information of your own that you guys can do. So the first thing that I think is important, I'm just going to throw this out there, is this term opportunity meeting. You guys have all heard this phrase before. I don't like it. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. I apologize. If there are some of you out there using it, it's wonderful. It's great. I don't particularly love it anymore because I feel like it's a term that's it's a little bit played out. I feel like it's a little bit older. I think when people hear opportunity meeting, they automatically make a decision about whether or not they want to go, right? Do they want to hear about a new opportunity or not? Most of the time, no. So this is actually a term that I try to avoid today. It does still work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. And if you like it and if it's comfortable to you, I would say continue to do so. But I think that we are past that term. There are a couple other terms that I think are better alternatives, and I'll just throw this out there. So as you're thinking about maybe a name or a type of, what am I going to name this meeting? What am I going to call it in my social media? Here are a couple of thoughts or ideas. Maybe a lifestyle and wellness preview. I like the word preview. Now, you don't have to use lifestyle and wellness. Maybe you like the word frequency. Maybe you like other terms. I want you to focus on that word preview. The word preview is it's more introductory, right? It's a little bit of a softer sell, if you will. I like that word. Session, maybe an empowered living session, maybe might be a good way to call that meeting. How about energy and wellness workshop? I like energy and wellness workshop. I like the word workshop. And then also from our last leadership meeting, I think it was Hannah or Steph that brought up experience, the word frequency experience. I like that term. So preview, session, workshop, experience, those are all really great terms that you can use in a title of your event that I think are a little bit more of a softer sell. I like those. I like those words. I'm not saying once again you can't use opportunity meeting, but preview, session, workshop, and experience I really like a lot. Um, so what would a marketing piece look like? I want to show you some examples of some pieces and maybe give you some thoughts on them. I will tell you, I think the success that you're going to have by doing an invitation is you're going to be way better than you think you are. I will tell you that right up front. And let me show you why. The pieces that I'm about to show you actually pull pretty well, and people have been successful with these pieces. I don't think they're particularly great, which tells you all you need to know. I think that I think you're going to find some really good success out there. So this is one by a company called Tax Lien Code. They say right here how you could make passive fixed real estate income without ever buying a single property. Keep in mind, these are not Solex pieces, right? These are pieces for totally different industries, but I want to show you the principles here because we're looking at number one, the name of the event. I want you to think about the name of the event. I want you to think about what the hook is. The hook is how I'm going to draw them in. What is the interesting tidbit or piece of information, the morsel of information that makes me want to continue reading? Because remember, when someone looks at an invitation on social media, especially, they're going to give you about 2 seconds. If they're not drawn in 2 seconds, they're not going to read the rest of your piece. They're not going to read the rest of your invite, right? It takes literally, it's a 2 second thing. So the name and that hook are really all they're going to get to. So if I were to read how you could make passive fixed real estate income without ever buying a single property, and I was in the real estate market and I was buying investment properties, I might be interested in this. I will tell you, this company pulls. I know this company personally. I actually started. This is funny. I'm telling you more than I should. I actually started. What is this company today? I started this company 20 years ago. So I know today what they're doing, and they're getting in front of about 9,000 people a week right now in several different markets nationwide. That is actually a really good hook. It says get your 2 free tickets to the tax lien masterclass. They actually just teach people how to invest in tax lien investing. And then they have the events, the dates that you can show up. And they have multiple events in multiple cities. And then at the very bottom, they're going to tell you exactly what it does. Our free masterclass breaks down tax lien investing into clear, practical steps. You'll gain real insights in how you can make smart decisions and start building reliable passive income. If I'm in that industry, I just got enough information for me to make a decision and sign up for free. Does that make sense? Super simple. There is nothing super attractive about that piece. It does not blow me away. It doesn't need to be this amazing thing with bells and whistles and all this. It just pulls just like that. How about this one? Empowering the joy within. That's the title, obviously, the name of the event. And then it says Parents and Partners, a celebration of academic engagement, family, and community for students in grades K through 8 and parents. It's got a little list of all the things that they're going to learn. There's male mentoring, there's imagined etiquette, healthy, soulful cooking. They just got a list of neat things in there, right? A pretty simple piece. This is actually a decent piece. I don't love it. I think it's pretty, I would call it loud. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to read. But if I was interested in empowering the joy within, that's a piece that I'd probably read. I'd probably read through that. How about this one? Spiritual workshop invitation. Pretty simple. Towards your goal each week, we will explore a topic about spiritual living, meditation, impediments, karma, life, on and on and on, right? Give you a schedule of telling you exactly what you're going to learn. This is an interesting piece. How many of you guys caught right at the beginning there's a spelling error? Drives me crazy. I am so OCD that way. That drives me absolutely nuts. Spiritual is not spelled right, guys. Make sure when you do your pieces, run a spell check on them, right? Spell check all of your stuff. That's just basic marketing 101, but this is a simple, very simple piece. Let me jump over here to GrowthCon. Why should I attend GrowthCon? Actually, I'm going to go back just a little bit. My opinion on that lighter purple spiritual workshop invitation, that's a lot of wording in the same font size. Nothing changes there. It's a little bit It's a lot. It's a little bit a lot for me. Okay. Um, GrowthCon. Everyone who knows what GrowthCon is knows that in very small writing, it's trying to pull you in. In fact, it's so small I can't even read it. Get close to it, I can't even read it. Why should I attend? It has three great reasons, but I can't see them. I wish they were a little bit bigger. I would love for those reasons to be just a little bit bigger. Finally, how about this free Facebook Live workshop? Humor and joy in caring for loved ones with dementia, keys to family connection and well-being. There it is, a title and a hook right up front, a great picture that draws me in. Thursday, February 8th. The only complaint I might have about this one, not a complaint, is it might be nice to have a little bit of information about what is actually going to happen at the event, right? Those are five great ones. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, but Robert, I don't have a marketing department. I don't have a marketing department that can design this for me, right? I can write this stuff. I can write out when my event's going to be and the time and the date. I can even write out my agenda to what it's going to be, but I can't design this piece for Facebook. Correction. Yes, you can. I promise you can. It's actually way easier than you think. Raise your hand out there if you have ever used ChatGPT for a marketing piece. Oh my gosh. If you haven't and you're not using it, you should be using it. It is absolutely a piece of cake. I'm going to show you kind of how to do it. I'm not going to do one. Well, maybe I could. I could probably show my screen. But it's never good to go live because bad things always happen when you try and do something like I know that ChatGPT, it's going to be the one time it takes 30 minutes to do my piece, and we don't have 30 minutes to wait for it. But all right. So what would an event look like? Let's talk about maybe an agenda, a simple agenda for what your event might look like. Now, this is where I hesitate a little bit to share too much with you guys, only because I've never personally built a Solex business. I built a lot of businesses in other companies. I've never done one specifically to Solex. However, if I were to do one, these might be some of the components. And I'm not telling you you need to do it this way. Anything I tell you today, guys, if you're not comfortable with it or you don't like it, don't do it. I'm just going to throw out a few of the things that I think might be interesting. I would say that an actual event, if you're going to keep it to 1 hour, maybe, I would do maybe half these points, depending on what you have. So let's take a look at some of them. Number one, I would always use an event form, or excuse me, an Eventbrite, a Jot form, Wova, Google Forms, or Eventleaf. I'd always try and use some sort of software to track who registers for my event. Eventbrite is free, by the way. It's super easy to use. You can just set it up, give it all the information, and you can set up your Eventbrite, and you can actually put that into ChatGPT as well, and it will put it on your invite. I always like to track who's coming, and I'll tell you about why I do that in just a few minutes. But I've always used Eventbrite. I know people who use all those other, maybe some of you guys have some experience with some of those other event sign up or registration tools. I've always used Eventbrite. I'm not selling Eventbrite. I don't care if you use whatever you're comfortable with, use. But it's important to know who's registering, because if I register 20 people and 10 of them show up, I want to know that. Because at my next event, if I market a little bit differently, I want to track, number one, how many registrations I get from a piece. If I change my piece, I want to know if my new piece is better or not. I won't know that unless I track my registrations. And then if I track who shows up, I also want to know what my show rate is. If I get 100 people to show up, I want to know that 50 are going to be there. If my show rate is 50%, then I can plan to have chairs. I can plan to have, if I'm going to bring a treat or a free giveaway or something, I can plan for that. But I think that all events should probably start out with a good welcome and introduction. Now, let's be careful with this, right? Because you're going to want to talk about you, and you might want to talk about you for a really long time. I'm going to counsel you in your introduction. I really like the 2-minute or less introduction to start. You can always go back to introduce yourself a little bit more, but I like doing a short introduction that goes right into maybe a hook with a video story. And marketing has produced some really good ones. You guys have seen them. We had one at DoD that I just absolutely love. I've talked to Jake Smith. He says there's 3 or 4 of them that are really good. They're like 5-minute to 7-minute testimonial stories out there. You may even have your own. You may have recorded your own. Even better. But if you don't have one, marketing has a couple really good ones that I would throw out there, because what happens is that people learn really quick. It isn't about the products, and it's not about you. It's about what you can do for other people. It's about how you can influence other people for good. And they learn really quick that their purpose is way bigger than what's happening at that meeting. and they get hooked right away, and they see what's important to you, and they learn really quick about the type of person that you are. So I really like a video story to lead as early as possible. Um, your next thing might be, what is frequency and energy, and how does it impact wellness? You might want to talk about that. You might start, well, at this point, I would try to, if you can, begin doing some free body scans, right? That's the whole key to the whole meeting. You want to get to that actually as quickly as you possibly can. I would set it up maybe with a little frequency and energy talk, a little wellness talk. I would talk about what the scan does, and then I would start doing them. And depending on your group size, you may have to rotate that. We'll talk in a little bit about plants and how plants, not like a physical, not like a green leafy plant, but like a plant, like you're going to actually have people there at your meeting. They're going to help you. We'll talk about how they can help you do that. But you want to start getting those free body scans going sooner than later as well. I think you're going to want to talk a lot about science and validation. If you're wondering where that is going to be all of your Kai and Lauren stories every week is a lot of science and validation for the product line at Solex. You're going to want to make sure you're up to speed on the products that you're going to be presenting. And keep in mind too, remember, all of your events are going to be different because frankly, each of you may be tied. I mean, while we're all tied at the scanner, all of you guys have probably products or supplements that Solex sells that maybe you're partial to. Maybe someone's really into the oils. Maybe someone's really into sleep. Maybe someone just absolutely has the best testimony about core. That might be your focus at an event, which is going to make your event a little bit different than everybody else's. Make sure you're presenting the products that you're comfortable with. So make sure you understand the science and validation behind whatever that product is that you're going to bring up. I would provide a lot of education and scanner detail reporting. I would show them those reports. I would help them understand what the reports mean, how to read those. I was floored the first time when I came to Solex day one, and Kai actually had me in just as an interview, and I was in his office, and he told me about what he was doing here at Solex, and he ran a scan on me, and I was absolutely floored at what that thing knew. My wife didn't know stuff. I have not complained to my wife about some of my ailments, but that machine, that scanner knew exactly what all of mine were, and it blew me away. Those are the kinds of things that I would tell and I would show when I would go through that report. Did you have this problem with your, L5S1 disc in your back? Did you know you had this? Did you know you had this shoulder? It's amazing what you can share, and I would help them understand those reports. I would talk about the Solex mission, the company story, and how we're all about bringing wellness into every home. I would talk about the business opportunity, obviously, right? If we're growing our business, we want to make sure people understand what the opportunity is for them to grow a business and actually make some money on this. It's not just about helping people feel better. It's about financially being compensated for the efforts that we make to help bring people to better wellness and the tools. I would also, of course, teach them how to purchase product, where to go to purchase product, and then most importantly, how to enroll if they would like to be a QLA. Another thing that I think a lot of people avoid, but I think is really, really important, is Q&A. And I would encourage honest conversations. You'll get them. You'll get the people that come up and just ask the crazy, weird question, the one that's just awful. I would answer those questions. And I would answer them honestly, and I'd be forthright in all of them. And then finally, I would close. And I would set up your close in a way that you can follow up with them. Please have them reach out to you, or let them, after you've had conversations just around the room during this meeting, be able to reach out to them. So you already should have their contact information, because when they completed the Eventbrite, you've got your first and last name, email address, and phone number on all those people. So you could get them into I would make sure you send them follow-up emails. Just tell them, be thankful that they attended, ask them if there's any questions you can answer, find out if they'd like to meet or find out more. Those are the kinds of follow-up emails I would do. So this is what, I don't know, is that 12 or 14 points right there? You don't have to do 12 or 14 points in your meeting. Do what's comfortable for you, that flows for you, that feels interesting for you. That would be what I would say how your meeting should flow. So what is my hook? I know you guys are sitting there thinking, man, what do I call my event? And what is the hook? If I'm going to make a marketing piece, what is the hook that I want to use? Let's talk about a few things that will help you identify what your hook should be. Number one, you want to know who you're chasing, right? It could be that you're chasing stressed out moms who are overwhelmed and are looking for balance in their life. That could be one. You could be looking for health and wellness enthusiasts. I'm just throwing these out there, guys, because frankly, these categories are so wide. They're as different as each of you. You guys have followers in your social media that are following you for specific reasons. They might be health and wellness enthusiasts. They might be professionals in the health field. A lot of you guys are in clinics, have clinics, are doing your business through clinics. They could be moms and caregivers. They could be entrepreneurs and home-based business seekers. That's the market that I chased for a lot of years. Um, so it could be any of those things, but once you understand that, that's going to help you understand a little bit more about what your hook might be. So the other part about your hook is you need to identify what makes your event different and exciting. And you guys all know what it is because you guys are already doing it in social media. You're already saying it. You're already talking about it. You just need to be able to put it into words. So number one, the thing about a hook or the thing that is going to make this effective is number one, it's a non-invasive, right? I know that's hard to understand what that is, but if you're going to offend with a hook, that's not a good idea. You want to be non-invasive. It needs to be simple. You need to make sure that everyone leaves with a personal scan and report. And you want to make sure they know that they're trying it for free with no pressure. These are some of the elements that maybe that you want to include in your hook. If you feel like if that's something that you want to make a part of your event, you might want to consider that as part of your hook. You also want to consider what your style is. A lot of you guys have some really interesting styles. I've been able to observe a lot of social media out there for Solex QLAs. I'm amazed at how many different styles are out there, and they're all effective. They're all awesome. But you might ask yourself, or you might want to share with somebody else, what if your body could talk to you? That's kind of an interesting hook, isn't it? I was skeptical. Then I scanned my daughter, and everything clicked for me. Tired, stressed, with no answers? This free scan might explain why. Thousands of people have experienced this incredible technology. Now it's your turn. These are just a couple of different ideas. You can kind of see how these are different approaches to a hook. Some of these might resonate with you, some of them may not. I use them as examples of maybe some different directions that you could go with a hook. It's important to remember, guys, when you're doing a hook, you always want to make sure that your marketing, this is going to sound super funny, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I'm not necessarily selling the scanner per se, right? I'm not going to talk about the technology. What I want to make this all about is I want to make this about them. Okay. The technology is awesome. AOScan, amazing. The supplements are absolutely incredible. But when I am marketing those things, I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about them, right? So don't say, learn about the scanner. Don't say, come join my team. Ouch. Yeah, I don't want to do that, right? That's a little bit strong. But do say things like, come experience what your body is trying to tell you. That's very interesting. You guys see the difference in that? Discover how frequency wellness could improve your life. You see how talking about them and their situation is way more interesting, frankly, because they don't know what the scanner is. Frank, well, I mean, a lot of your followers do. Most of them should. But if I want to talk about a benefit of doing something, it really has to have something to do with the individual. Does that make sense? So that's why I say, do say what your event, how it can improve their life. All right. Ask yourself, does your hook focus on the individual? Does it spark a curiosity or connection? Because remember, I said you've got about 2 seconds for them to be curious or feel like they're connected, right? You got to ask yourself, if I read that hook, would I stop scrolling or would I read it? A couple other thoughts. This scan changed how I see my health forever. Your body is talking. Are you listening? What you learn about your body in 5 minutes may shock you. You and I both know it's actually a lot faster than that, but those are the kinds of things that connect with individuals and might trigger some sort of a response from them. It might sound interesting. I'm not telling you to use these. I'm just trying to get your brain clicking just a little bit. So here's what I'd love to do for just a minute. I would love for you to take 2 minutes. Is this okay, Steph, if we do this little exercise where we do a bit of a mastermind activity? I would love to have you take just 2 minutes. Based on what we just talked about, maybe come up with what you think might be a name of your event. If you were going to hold an event, what would that name of that event look like? And what might my hook be? What might your hook be? So maybe take just a couple minutes, make a couple notes, just a couple thoughts. Name of your event and what is your hook? Nobody fall asleep. I hear snoring. I hear snoring. All right, we'll take about 15 more seconds. All right, let's wrap it up for just a minute here. All right, I would like to open it up. If anyone has any thoughts or ideas that you would like to share, if you have what you think would be an awesome name, maybe it doesn't have to be awesome, but just if you're comfortable, um, I would love for you to share some of your ideas. So you can take yourself off of mute if you're comfortable. Tell us, share it with us if you don't mind, a name of your event and maybe what you want to use as your hook.
Go ahead and share, Ellie.
My good friend ChatGPT uh, gave me
I
a
love it.
couple. I did want to clarify though. Are we able to use the word healing in any of our marketing or anything if it's not this will heal you, or do we need to avoid that word?
That is a great question. Healing did not come up with, well, Kai is obviously tied with compliance. Um, Healing did not come up in our last meeting.
Okay.
I think
I
I
mean,
think you
that's
just have to be
fine.
careful of any guarantees, right?
Gotcha.
That's what you're looking out for. You can't guarantee or make a promise per se.
Okay. Okay. So then these would be my top two. So
Okay.
Wellness Unlocked, the title, Wellness Unlocked, Discover the Frequency of
Ooh,
Healing. The hook being Step into a New Way to Understand Your Health. And then the
ooh,
second one that was really good is Inner Map, a frequency-based approach to wellness, as the title. And then the hook being Unlock what your systems are signaling and how to respond. And
ooh,
those were my favorite.
those were all really, really good. Super good. In fact, Steph, we're recording this, right?
Can you share them? Yeah, in the chat, Ellie.
Yeah, I will copy and paste because so just background, this would be hosted at a wellness center. I work at a wellness center, and so that's why I'm going more with those. But I think they'd work really anywhere. I don't think they'd have to be um
I think you're right, Ellie. I think they really do. Those were both really solid. Like really, well, two different names and two different hooks, both really, really good. Anybody else be willing to share?
We have a lot of great ones in the chat. Um,
Through those.
One that I have been working on tweaking because I'm supposed to be hosting an event here in a couple weeks in a chiropractor's office. Love your feedback on it. It's specifically for practitioners and health coaches or mindset coaches. So we're leading with this as a business model. Um, Future-proof your practice. Discover how frequency technology is saving practitioners time and boosting revenue.
I love that. Um,
What would you change?
I don't like to change much of it at all because it's all really, really important. I would just look to see if maybe you could tighten up that hook a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't know how many words it was, but if it was
It was
20 words, maybe try and see if you can get it to 15, or something, just something quick. Because remember, we've got 2 seconds, but it's all super good. Like it
So
was really, really good.
discover how frequency technology saves time and boosts revenue.
There you go. Or don't even, yeah, you don't even have to say discover how. You just say, well, no, you do probably in that sense. You probably do want to use discover. I really like it. I think it sounds really, really good. And I really love future-proof your practice. That is a special hot button for business people right now, right? I love that. I think that's really great. Future-proof. Um, I mean, there's so many different ways to use future-proof, but it's definitely going after a certain demographic. And I think it's awesome. I love that one. Any others? Any last ones before I share some of the ones that were shared up at leadership?
Let's see here.
Empower your family with frequency technology in tune with health. I like that one. Stacey, that one's great. Upgrade your health. That one's awesome. Your energetic blueprint revealed. You guys are probably reading these same ones in the chat. These are all really, really good, guys. They're all really good.
My next one was quantum shift your coaching business, but I don't have a hook for it yet.
Well, and the hook's going to come from, frankly, what your focus or your content's going to be, right? So that's going to help you cheat on that one. So once you've identified exactly what your content might be, it might be easier to come up with the hook. Sometimes the hook comes at the last, guys. But these are all really good. You guys have done really, really good on these. Let me share a couple other thoughts and ideas. I think, frankly, this is going to sound terrible, but I think a lot of the ones that you guys just mentioned were as good or better than a lot of these I'm just going to show you. A couple of event name ideas: Mindset Magic, Empowered Family Workshop, a free quantum health experience, the six-figure affiliate business for wellness influencers. That one's one after a certain. That one's got that's kind of got a little trigger in them. I love the influencers word, right? Because now you're chasing a specific kind of person who is already out there making waves in the industry. So that's kind of an interesting use of that word. Some hook ideas: work smarter, not harder, and get better results. Find the hidden energetic secrets to your health. Discover your hidden mental blocks. The future of wellness is frequency. Fine tune your biofield to clear chronic disruptions. Lift your vibration, shift your experience. That was just some of them. There were a few others that kind of came up as well. I like these ones. But the idea here is to help you just kind of get a leg up on getting to that where you a little bit come more comfortable with how you're going to market it. So let's talk a little bit more about how I would market that event. All right. Radio is super, super effective. I don't know if any of you guys have used radio before. It's actually surprisingly cheap. iHeartRadio is probably, in my opinion, iHeartRadio is kind of cheating. When I've used it before, it's not very expensive. I'll show you some numbers here in just a minute. I've had 2,000 people come out to an event from a 30-second ad on iHeartRadio. So you could see scary numbers come out, just so you know. But here's maybe a 30-second radio ad. Feeling stressed, tired, or out of balance? Discover how your body can guide you to better health naturally. Join us for a free AO Scan frequency wellness event from Solex. Experience a personal AO Scan demo. Get a free inner voice report and learn how this powerful technology is transforming lives and incomes. We'll be in the Diamond Ballroom of the Marriott Hotel in Provo on Saturday, June 28th from 9 to 10 a.m. RSVP today by texting SCAN to 801-987-134. Super simple. I will tell you, this is going to sound terrible. I actually don't love that. Why? I just told you why I don't like it. And it's because it's not enough about them and how it's going to benefit them personally, right? I hope you guys all caught that. I would rather say something, I need to change that up. I would rather say something more along the lines of, frankly, that's your hooks that you guys just used. Those hooks that Ellie used, you guys have in the chat here, are way better than this. So you can see how simple it would be, though, to put together an easy radio ad. How about a Facebook marketing post? This is where things get really, really easy. This that you're looking at right here actually was generated by ChatGPT. All I did was say, I just gave a couple of bullet points of what I wanted to put. And I said, hey, make me an invitation. And then after it says, after it gives you basically this format, it says, do you want to make a flyer? And you say, yes, make it a flyer and format it for Facebook, right? And then it spits it out. I would suggest doing it outside of your business hours, because it feels like when I do them inside of business hours, sometimes they take a long time to generate a flyer. But it's actually super simple. When I do them at 10 o'clock at night and there's no traffic or less traffic on ChatGPT, it spits it out in 10 seconds. And they're super easy. I'll show you a couple that I've made here in just a second. But let's go through this really quick and we can see if they're. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Is there a lot of background noise? I'm in the warehouse and there's some serious work going on here. So I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. Okay. Is there anything on here that I don't love? I'm trying to see. No, this one's actually all good. I just want to quickly scan it. It's fine. You guys are probably looking at this thing going, Robert, there's 5 different ways to make this better. You're 100% right, by the way. And you're going to tailor it to you personally, and that's going to make it better. So let me show you a couple of, I've taken this exact information and put it in ChatGPT, and this is what ChatGPT spit out. So if you were, I mean, this is every bit as good or better than those invitations that I showed you at the beginning of my presentation, right? Anyone disagree with that? These ones are actually really good. The one on the left. Let's see, there is something about this one that I didn't like. So you have to kind of review what ChatGPT spits out for a couple of different reasons. Number one, okay, discover your body's balance with cutting edge frequency technology. So that's kind of the name and that's kind of the hook. Free energy and wellness scan event. There it is. They're going to know exactly what they're getting into. Here's what they're going to experience. You got those 5 checks. There's going to be a bonus for attendees, a free bonus. I would probably put free bonus for attendees. I like the word free. Free personalized frequency audio, wellness gift bag. So be careful, right? If you don't plan on bringing a wellness gift bag, don't put it in your invite. And I would tell you, ChatGPT just stuck that in there. I didn't tell it to do that. Entry into a special wellness giveaway. So quick note, if ChatGPT does put something in your invite that you don't like, just say reprint it, take out wellness gift bag for the first 5 hours. It'll just take it out. Okay, super easy. But this is as easy as cut and paste now into Facebook. Look at the invite on the right. Do I have any problems with the one on the right? Yes, I do. Free Wellens experience. ChatGPT spelled that wrong, guys. Like literally spelled wellness wrong in my own invite. So make sure you're spell checking these things. Make sure that it's getting everything exactly right. On this one, I had to go back and say, hey, spell wellness right, ChatGPT, and I had to correct that. Your body is speaking. Are you listening? Join us for a powerful, no pressure event where you'll experience a free AO scan demo. Discover how frequencies support mind and body wellness. Hear real success stories and testimonials. Learn how to turn this into a life-changing business. Date and time, what they're going to get, how to RSVP. Pretty simple, guys. And this really just from the information that you guys have written down so far, and maybe just with an idea of what you want in your agenda. If you list out those 6 or 7 bullets, you can print this right here and you can make an invitation that is effective and it will get people out to your event. Okay. Super simple, easy. So let's talk about a couple other little things that you may want to have as part of your marketing. A couple of thoughts. Number one, I think you'd be surprised if you're worried that maybe you don't have enough people to market to, or you don't have enough followers yet, but you want to get more followers. Consider going out to Facebook groups that are near you. Right? I will tell you, I looked in my neighborhood on Facebook. There are 6 different neighborhood groups just around my house, not even my city, which is Lehi, Utah. But just in my neighborhood, there's 6 different names of neighborhoods, and all of them have their own Facebook page. There's hundreds of people in each of those pages. Super easy to get local people, right? So if you're concerned that maybe your team is maybe not near you locally, or you're trying to grow it locally, there are really great ways to get people out to your events that are near you. Use other social media outlets. We talked about that. You guys can expand, get outside of Facebook and Instagram if you'd like to. You don't need to, though. I talked about iHeartRadio. You can use regular radio, satellite radio. iHeart's awesome. Really do it a lot of different ways. But I would remember to test and track how many registrations you're getting depending on what you're using to get people out. Does that make sense? So if I use an iHeartRadio ad for a particular event, I would want to track how many come in from that iHeartRadio ad that make sense? I'd want to track how many come in from just my Facebook ad. So if you can use a different phone number or a different way to track it, or who cares? Maybe you're just going to say, I'm going to use Facebook and this is my piece. I'm going to use iHeartRadio and this is my ad. Whatever that all is, make sure it's all together, and then you know how many you're going to get from that entire methodology. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would have like
Finally,
a special code or something. Sorry to jump in there, Rob, but
yeah,
like I think it would be really easy to have a special code where
yep,
they enter it on the Eventbrite. Maybe the Eventbrite is set for like $25, but everybody gets it free. And if they enter
yep,
in this code, then you have a code for the iHeartRadio or you have a code for the Facebook group so that you know where your traffic is coming from. And then they
yep.
actually
And that's a simple, Steph, you're exactly right. That's as simple as putting scan, right? If they're gonna text in for registration, they put scan, or they put Facebook, or they put whatever your code is. It's really that simple. Steph is 100% correct. You can do that a lot of different ways. What's your budget? This is always a big one that comes up. People always think about how much do I need to spend? How much should I spend? I have always kind of as a guide, I've always taken whatever my commission amount is that I'm receiving, and I take 5% of that and I put it in a marketing budget. That's just kind of my own thing. It's a personal thing. It's I'm not suggesting that's the way to go. Some people do more, some people do less. I think 5% is a good number for me just to can always just be reinvesting in my business. Um, Finally, A/B tests. I've kind of mentioned what an A/B test is, but if I'm going to use piece number or piece letter A, and then on my next event, I'm going to use piece letter B, and they're two different pieces. Make sure we call those an A/B test, right? Make sure you're testing piece A against test piece number B, or piece letter B. So if you're on Facebook and you're doing an event in July, piece A received this many registrations from that. Piece letter B received this many. I would want to know what those numbers are, obviously, because I don't want to use piece A if it didn't pull as well as piece B, right? A/B test your stuff. So where you can kind of test, you're trying to fine tune your model. You want to get better and better at your model. Does that make sense? Let's see. Other logistics. I did some research out there. I did some digging, went jumping around out to different cities to try and find out what costs of some places might be. So let's say you want to get outside your living room, right? Which I hope all of you do. I think what's going to happen, you guys, when you do your first meeting, you're going to find that you're going to get more people than fit in your living room, right? So here are some prices. Like if you wanted to go out to your local library, you're probably in that $50 range, and you probably can seat about 30 people, depending on how big the room is. They can tell you. But libraries are a pretty cheap way to go. I can tell you from personal experience. I'm just going to throw this out there. If you know anybody in title or title companies, just have little conference rooms too that they'll just let you have for free most of the time. They just like to get their name out there. So libraries, title companies are good. Hotel banquet halls are great. I've seen those anywhere from $150. You can go all the way up to a lot more, but $150 is going to seat you anywhere from like usually 100 to 150 people even in most cases, depending on the hotel, right? If you're going to go get some massive skyscraper in downtown LA, you're going to be paying a little bit more than $150. But for most of us, your Holiday Inns, your average hotel is going to be that $150 for 100 people. I think the other one that I really like doing is movie theater. Everyone's forced to just stare right at you, and you can look everybody right in the eye. So, and you can see 300 people for 350. So, as you start to grow it, you'll need to make sure that you're having a space that's going to allow for the number of people that you have. And where you guys are starting to get into the hundreds of followers and you're going to start to market, people are going to start sharing. Be ready to upgrade a little bit from a library to a hotel banquet hall. Finally, date and time. This is totally up to you. You guys do this whenever it's comfortable for you. I can tell you personally, for me, what we found to work the most as far as getting the best attendance were Saturday mornings. And it seemed like Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons, Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday evenings were good. But once again, that's up to you. And you guys know your group or your demographic better than anybody. Finally, the last thing that I wanted to mention is plants. Plants are your team members or family or somebody who you know that's close to you that can sit in the crowd. And sometimes a plant can be the one who's just like, Yeah, and they're cheering and they're like, yeah, I love it. And they're excited, right? And then when you say, hey, who wants the first scan? That's the person who jumps up first and runs over and gets the scan, right? These are the plants that you put in there that help people kind of do what they're supposed to be doing. Sometimes people just need a little help, right? So you don't want to have plants that maybe are sitting in the crowd. If you've got enough of them, they're there, they're participating. They're basically showing everybody else what they should be doing. You're also going to want to have plants because if you've got people who can just help you do scans, right? Because you're going to be speaking or you're going to be, you might even be showing a video, but you still aren't going to have time to just go take people aside and do their scans. You're going to need people to help you with certain aspects of your event. That's where you're going to want to have a little team of a couple of people, depending on how big your crowd is, right? If you're starting to push into 50 or 100 people, you're going to need 5 or 10 plans. And really, you'll want to kind of plan a little bit with Stacy, Steph, and Anna, or however, to try and figure out how you can best manage a bigger crowd. But those are just a few other thoughts. So that's my hour, Steph. We're almost perfect. Do we want to? Are there some other questions? Should I check the chat
Yeah,
here?
there's
Should I
a
read
great
some?
question in the chat right now about when you do
What
a
is it?
live event. It says, when you do a live event, what do you do to keep people there while they wait their turn for their scan? Do you have other products to experience? Do you give them reading material or have like a video in the background? That's a good question.
So that's why plants are so important. That's a great question. That's why plants are so important because what you would like to be doing is you'd like to be doing scans while you're still on stage, while you're still speaking. That makes sense. So as part of, they should just be, you should just be peeling them off during. So like I love, and Steph put it in there, the Ackley story, right? When you guys are showing that Ackley story, I believe it's 7.5 minutes or so, I want to say, maybe even 8 minutes. That's a great time to peel off a couple of people to go do scans. As you're speaking, you're going to have people, maybe it's family or friends who've been through it, who know it, who maybe on your team, or they just know what you're doing and how you're doing it, or they just volunteered to help you out. Have them go pull people aside and do that while the event is going on. I found that to be the best way to do that. I don't know if that answers your question, but try and do it while the event is going on because you will lose them. You will lose them if you try and say, okay, everyone stay in your seat. Trust me, it's going to be good. We're going to take the next hour to one by one take everyone through it. It's not going to work. Try and keep them engaged by just keeping the event going and just pulling them out and letting them get that free scan and then coming back.
Yeah.
Good question. What other questions do we have out there?
Let's see.
How to get someone to schedule and then show up to the follow-up meeting. Okay, so the follow-up meeting is, it really comes down to how you want to do it. I found that when I'm having the actual meeting with when my plants are there and I'm actually doing a meeting, you're going to find out in that meeting, you're going to find out who's interested. And you're going to find out really well, are they interested in product or are they interested in building or both, right? Everyone there is going to be interested in product. That's your first way in. So every one of those, that's your opportunity to have a conversation, to talk to them. They're obviously going to know you're going to share your testimony with them about the product throughout the meeting. By the end of the meeting, you should know who they are and you should be able to have, I always just set up a follow-up. For me, it's a lunch. If I'm in my local area and someone's interested to that level in the product or business building, I set up a lunch. Hey, we should do lunch sometime. Can I buy you lunch sometime? I'd love to share more with you about it. If they're that kind of interested, that's how I always do it. I always follow up with a lunch. Now, let's say that I'm doing an event in Kansas City, which I did 3 weeks ago. Now, all of a sudden, it complicates things a little bit, right? Because now they're phone calls. So I'm amazed at how many people call me afterward, number one, because I did an effective enough presentation that they're calling me. But also, I call them and just say, "Hey, man, it was so great to meet you at the event. Just let me know if you have any questions, or can I help you with any product? Is there anything you'd like to get?" Most people are extremely open to that. The people that are not open to that, you're going to know that at the event because frankly, they're going to leave in the middle, right? If they go to your event and they stay till the end, that's somebody who's probably worth talking to. And I would always set something up, a phone call. If you really like them, I do lunches. That's my thing.
What would you do at the very end for your closing? Like, I know that you have captured name, phone number, and email from people because of the registration, but would you pass out anything at the end, like a little half sheet of paper that says, like, tell us what you thought, or, tell us what your interest level is. Like, check here if you're ready to sign up for AOScan subscription. Check here if you're interested in an affiliate link to start sharing this with others. Or would you try to do in-person registrations if people are like, sign me up right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take any opportunity. If someone's like, sign me up right now, do not hesitate. Jump all over that. But yeah, so I didn't have that in my presentation. So what I will do, that's a great suggestion, Steph, but we will use like a 9-inch, like a cardstock card and do a survey. And I actually put those on everyone's chair at the event. So if I'm sitting in front of 200 people, they've got one of those on every chair before they come in, and they just put that on their table or on their desk if it's one of those situations, and they'll just check those boxes. Absolutely. Would you be interested in a follow-up? Would you be interested in purchasing product? Are you interested in building a business or finding out how you can make money on the side just simply because of your interest in Solex products? I would absolutely put a survey on there. That makes life so much easier because you could just follow up with the survey. So I think that's a great idea. I've done that quite a bit. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just thinking here too that you could even have maybe separate from that last sheet that they sign up, maybe have a flyer with just bullet points of what you're going to go over in that
Yep.
presentation and have a QR code on it. Like, if you're ready to sign up today, you'll get this special deal or whatever from you. They can actually scan that QR code and sign up on their phone
Yeah.
while they're there.
Yeah. And I actually, it's 100% right. So even on my screens, when I do my presentations, let's see, all the way back. I don't know if you can see that in the top right-hand picture. You see that ginormous QR code right there? I
Mhm.
always make sure I have my QR code up on most of those screens. That's going to be hard for you guys to see right there, but um, QR code at any time, because if they're just like, oh, they get bored for a second, QR code that thing. They'll take a picture of it and they'll go right to your website. They'll go right to, they'll see your product line. They'll see all of that right from that. I have that up on most, I don't want to say every screen because it gets obnoxious as can be, but every 5 or 10 slides, I'll have it just there. So people can get right into it. So yeah, great suggestion. Steph, you're 100% right. What other questions do we have here? Lunch or coffee date works great. Zoom call if they're out of town. Yep, great selection, great suggestion. I appreciate bringing this to the person and lunch follow-up. Sometimes phone is ideal, but in person connection. Guys, the bottom line is face-to-face is always better. Always better. I try and avoid a phone call. I only do phone calls if I'm like, if it's out of state or if it's going to be obviously a state-to-state type of a relationship, then it's going to be phone. But always, if you can, if it's close enough, it's always better face to face. You will convert so much higher face to face.
Ellie, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can I ask a kind of like a very specific to me question? I hope it
Yeah.
will help someone else, but I'd like to ask. So the wellness center I work at, I just signed them up. They are now one of my QLAs, right? So
Okay.
we are going to be offering services at our center. We have a PMF mat. People can come and do inner voice, get their sound healing, lay on the mat. Okay. My question is, having a wellness center as a QLA, but also being a QLA myself, working at this wellness center, how do you do enrollments for customers that want to enroll when the wellness center itself is not necessarily going to be their coach or their mentor or whatever? Like, the owner of the wellness center doesn't have the capacity nor the desire to be that person. So I would obviously be that person. So the question being, I want the wellness center to make money. I want them to have residual income. I want this to be worth it for them. But I also don't want to do all the work and not get paid. So, that's why I feel like it's a really specific question. But for those of us that are going out to wellness centers and places like that, like, how do we manage that type of support and enrollment scenario?
I have a few thoughts, but I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this.
Yeah, I would say that if you can come up with a way to just be very clear up front that you're going to share in the signups, or, If you want to get really detailed, it can be like whoever you invited goes to you, whoever I
Yep.
invited goes to me. But you definitely want to make sure that the person who is hosting feels like they're getting some residual benefit from using their space, their time, helping to market it. Um, so at minimum, I mean, if you have a lot of signups, like at minimum, I would want those hosts to have three so that their AO scan is then free. Rob,
Oh, that's
anything to
smart.
add?
Yeah, my initial thought was going to be how interested is the owner in any of it? Like, are they just like in their clinic and they just want to just take the profits that come from the clinic? Good, or is he interested or she interested in overriding something or partnering on something? Like, because a lot of times owners don't necessarily want any more headache. The reason why they're in the position they're in is because they don't want to deal with the headache, right? They just want to sit over here on the outside. So I would suggest maybe in that situation, the easy way in is usually to just say, hey, are you okay if I do this? So if I provide this added benefit to your clients that just helps the clinic look better, are you okay if I
Mhm.
just continue to do this, to hold these events, you know, maybe even put a survey out at the clinic to just say, would you be interested in making money doing this? Or, and you know what I mean? So, but I think you
Mhm.
just check it with the owner and see what their interest level is. I would bet
Yeah.
you 75, 80% of the time they don't want to deal with it at all. They're like, do what you want to do. That's been my experience.
Okay.
I don't know your specific, I don't know
Uh,
the
That's
owner
a great, that's
specific
actually a really
situation.
great point, and that makes a lot of sense in that instance of like, yeah, it would be so much more hassle and so much
Yeah,
more pain. And then, because what we're going to do is we're charging for the sessions, whether they
exactly.
have an AO scan subscription as a client or not, they have to pay to come use the mat and I think we've got the mask right now. We'll add to it as we go, but it will be upsells constantly. So in that case, yes, the clinic would be making money, and then the clinic becomes more of like the quantum energetic like option as well. So that does make sense. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Juliana had a question. Julie, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by this, but she says, could you explain inviting from event to event, like the importance of having another event lined up?
So maybe I misunderstand, Juliana. Um, the events aren't necessarily tied together per se. They're all individual events, right? If I'm holding an event in July, and I'm going to hold that on July 15th. The event that I hold on August 15th, a month later, is the exact same event. Does that make sense? And we get really good at that same event. I think maybe what you're referring to is another one lined up is really just your follow-up to any one of those workshops or previews or experiences, whatever you decide to call them. That's your follow-up. So I hope that's each
Mhm.
of them are independent. The
Yeah.
big events are independent of one another. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I guess I was just maybe adding in that wrapping up any conversation should be also opening the door to the next connection point. Meaning event to event meaning maybe the next event is a coffee that you're having with them that you're setting up at the big event. Hey, we didn't have enough time to talk about it. Let's set up a coffee right now. Or the just that kind of event to event, as well as sometimes we'll get so excited about hosting a big event, and then at the end, the energy, everybody just leaves. Like, it's good to have something on the board, or, okay, we're meeting again here at this time, the same event or something, right? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can tell people, hey, in fact, more the merrier, right? Like if they come to your July 15th event, absolutely invite them back for your August 15th event. Even if they don't sign up, you still want them to come, right? If they're still interested in the products, eventually you're going to get them on the hook. Like they're either going to start buying your products or they're going to start building business. But have them come back because the more people that come to your event, the better. The more popular it looks like, the more exciting it is. They see more people there. Absolutely, have them come every time. In fact, if you've got people that are your plants or people that are helping you, they should always be there. Have them come all the time. You'll just get better at doing the events. That's a great point, Juliana. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's see. I was at a clinic yesterday, scanned 10 people. There are several of the clients that are interested in the scanner, and the clinic has not signed up yet. I let her know upfront that if someone wants to sign for AO, that she needs to sign up so she can get credit. If not, they'll go under me. She totally understood. I informed her that I would help her build with training and so forth. Yeah, so I would say just make sure, I mean, above and beyond, make sure your communication is really good because you never want to have someone feel like they got hosed on a relationship, right? Like if you go out and steal a ton of business and they're not getting a benefit, make sure that they understand up front. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is how I could benefit you guys. If you'd like, I'll just do it on my own. But just make sure you're really clear. Just make sure you communicate well with clinics or whoever you're working with. Communication is critical. So
Any
that's a
other
great point. Thank you,
questions,
Marlon.
guys? Yeah, I know that everyone has really been wanting to get out there and doing in-person events. So whether it is something small with just 5 people at your house, or you feel comfortable doing something bigger, now is the time to ask those questions about any roadblocks that you think you might run into, or questions that have come up in the past or anything like that. So don't be afraid to speak up.
And let me speak just really quick to roadblocks. The biggest roadblock everyone on this call is going to have is quite simply experience. You just got to do it. And the more often you do it, the better you will get at it. You'll get past your uncomfortability and you will get to a point where all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh. Well, actually, I can't say that. I know some people that still 2 years from now, they're still totally uncomfortable, but they do it and they find great success, right? So it's about getting experience. So it's just about doing it. So just decide, hey, I'm going to do one on this day. It doesn't matter how many people come. It doesn't matter. You guys know now how to make an invite. Super easy through ChatGPT. You guys can now go find a venue of some kind, start out really small, just do an event. And I think what you will find is maybe 2 or 3 people show up. That's totally fine. Super easy to do 2 or 3 people. You don't even have to, you can stop in the middle of your presentation and do scans if you want right in the middle with that many people. That makes life really easy. But just start working up. You'll get 2 or 5 in your first one. You'll get 10 in your second one. You'll find by your third month, you're starting to see 20, 25 people and they get really, really fun. You start to get to know a lot of people face to face. You guys already are connected with a ton of people. It's about time now. This is really the next level in your business building. It's doing events. Everyone has a certain amount of followers. It's about now converting those followers into actual enrollees, right? And events are the absolute best way to do that. So someone mentioned earlier, someone asked earlier, do we have any presentations recorded? Part of what we kind of rolled out at leadership was we're going to start recording these. So as you guys start doing these events, if you guys will record, even if it's just with your cell phone sitting on a table in front of you, record what you're saying. Because what we'd like to do is when we start to hear some really good ones, and I promise you there's going to be a lot of really good ones, we would like to start sharing those with other people so that people can kind of see how we're doing it well. Does that make sense? I kind of said before, I haven't personally built a Solex business before. So I'm here learning just like you guys are what one looks like. But like I said before, these events are as individual as each of you are. Because all of you guys have your own testimonies about what products you like, and you guys all have your own stories. And that's what an event is all about. It doesn't have to be long. It's not high pressure. It's super easy. And frankly, it should just be you getting to know some people and hanging out. You guys are like-minded people that are interested in the same things. And you actually happen to have some really great resources that can help improve their lives. That's really what it's about. So it's super, super simple. It is absolutely the next step in building your business. It's the next thing that's actually going to put rocket fuel in the engine of your business for sure.
Yes, I agree. And I'm so grateful that you said the only way that you're going to learn how to do this is by doing this. Y'all, I used to be with a network marketing company that was all skincare. And I used to show up to people's houses and bring a whole tote full of creams and lotions and washes and masks and all of this stuff and little hair ties and things to hold their hair back and bowls to put the water in and towels that I would have to wash when I got back home and clipboards and forms and all these things. We were literally just asking you to show up with this. Like nobody has to wash their face. They just have to talk into their phone, which is what they do all day long anyway. This is not Scary. Try getting 10 women to take all of their makeup off in front of each other. That's terrifying. They don't want to do that. That's vulnerability right there, right? So this is so much easier than you think it is. And as far as getting people to show up for in-home events, because that's what I used to do, number one recommendation, make sure that they have a friend coming with them. Have a friend that is joining them, somebody that they know, and lead with your enthusiasm. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. This is going to be so fun. I know you're going to love it. Check in with them a couple days before. Can't wait to see you Tuesday night. Check in with them the day of. Here's my address. This is what we're doing. See you then. But enthusiasm and at least a friend if they can. All are welcome, right?
Yep. I love that. Yeah, it's just about doing, you guys. I can't wait to see some of the success stories that come. I've done this for so many years at so many companies and just seeing growth and success. I will tell you, I have never seen opportunity. I hate that word. I have never seen opportunity like the one at Solex. Like I've been at a lot of companies. I've built my own companies. I actually built a company that we hit blueprint to a billion. We almost did $1 billion in 1 year. So I've done big, huge companies. I will tell you, I've never been as excited about a company as I am about Solex. The opportunity that we have in this cool niche market of frequencies with the scanner is so incredibly powerful. You guys are already seeing it in your social media. I've seen it. I've seen that your people connect with people, and I've seen your networks get so big already through social media. I'm just excited to see what you guys do with this. I think it'll be so awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob, for hosting this. I hope you all, yes, there is going to be a replay. We did record this. I hope that you all gained something from this presentation. I know I did, and this is the second time that I've heard it. So we are going to share this with the rest of Team Taurus, but I just want to say that I'm so proud of all of you for showing up for yourselves and your business today at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday. You found time to fit this in. You can do the same for these in-person events in your schedule. I know that you can do it. So yeah, thank you so much, Rob. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I'm excited for you.
All right, bye everyone.